to the Pelicans post-game report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly die, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. Ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and do best, show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's up, then don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumper where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the refs just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostag. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly die, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly die, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever.
All right, how about that? For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican post-game report. Shout out to the fan. Appreciate y'all for being in this happy episode of PPR 116-112, the Pels. First win of the season. 1-6, they snap a 12-game losing streak. I won't say dating back to last year. Pretty good numbers, man. There was a scrappy effort by the Pelicans. Zion didn't play in this game. But what happened was the Pelicans came together as a team and they won the game, man. And it was pretty good, bro. So shout out to y'all guys. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. We'll have Willie Green momentarily popping up in there. What's up, Tech Blitz? Shout out to you. Pelicans Nola. YBNG Don says, I'm pissed off at Jose for playing so good, hard and serious for this, man. It was a losing program tonight. Pool, Trey Zion not hurt. They're trying to lose, but Jose messed it up. Hey, bro, listen, man. You got to take these wins when you can, bro. Listen, I'm a person that like to win, man. And I love success, man. So when the team play gutty and getting their first win of the season is big. Now, you know, they did what they had to do, right? You know, they hung in there, they performed well, and ultimately they got their first win. But, you know, it's still a lot of tough games ahead that the Pelicans going to have to match up with. So it's not going to be easy over the next 5 games. So this is just one of many. So they got a long way to get out of the hole. They're 5 games from 500. They get the first win in the building. And this, like I said, it's a win. So we'll just have to wait on that, man. I know y'all how y'all feel about Willie Green. I'm there with y'all. D-Jack5, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you, man. Trey, what's up, Trey? Shout out to you. Lavelle, what's happening, my brother? Good to see you. Young City Nines in the building as well. J-Cov, what's up, bro? Shout out to you. What's up, Stace? Shout out to you. Ross, how you doing, sir? Much love, man. Appreciate you, bro. All right, and the rest of the fam, man, thank y'all, man. What's up, Steph? How you doing? Shout out to the Queens. Brother Jan, how you doing, sir? Yeah, this is a win, man, where, you know, we knew ultimately, like this game, we talked about it. The Memphis game to me was a win. The San Antonio game was a win, but you got to finish. This team played with heart and determination. You know, they gave a mighty effort. And listen, you got to respect this win, right? And I know they were missing LaMelo. They were missing what's the other kid name? Miller. They're missing him. But ultimately, man, you got to respect the effort they play with. The key to it is being consistent and keeping this going. Let's go to Willie Green, fam. His breakdown. Here we go.
The job that he was able to do, and then despite the turnovers late, being able to make 2 huge plays at the end in the final minute.
Yeah, DQ was he was amazing tonight. We needed every ounce of what he gave us. Even when he made that mistake, if you watch his teammates, they all corralled around him and they just told him, hey, okay, next play. We made a mistake, turnover, next play. But he had done so much for us, even leading to that point in the minutes that he played, rebounding, his ability to pass the ball, and he can score. So huge minutes from DQ.
And Jose, kind of just be Jose tonight.
Jose being Jose, big shot. Those guys, they stuck together, they played together, they continued to have faith in each other. We've been working, and it was good to carve out this win, much needed win on our home floor.
With DQ out there, it seemed like there was a lot of players just orbiting him in terms of cutting, getting handoffs, a lot of movement, a lot of player and ball movement. How much of that was just then just read and react and playing basketball versus how much of that is like specifically the kind of usage that you want with Queen out there?
It's more of the usage that we want with him out there. He's a hub, so we can pass the ball to him at the elbow, or we can go to him in the post and guys can play off of him. And then when he doesn't like anything, he'll just take it and attack the basket from there.
Well, we can talk about a lot of players, but what about the minutes that you got from Carlo and Sadiq?
Carlo changed the game. Coming in the first half, I think first quarter, his ability to run the floor, block shots, putbacks, just 50-50 plays. But him and Sadiq were great. Sadiq hit some big shots in the second half. Just solid effort collectively by our group.
How important was it just to get this first win? I know I talked to Trey the other day, and he mentioned that he felt like once y'all got one, that he was hoping it could snowball. What do you think?
It's so important. The win solidifies all the work that they put in, everything that we're teaching. Sometimes it can be difficult when we know that our processes are there, we're teaching the right things, guys are working at it, and they don't get the results. So this confirms what they're doing, how hard we're working, and the beauty in the NBA is you turn around and you got another one tomorrow.
What do you think about just the crowd tonight?
They were great. They were great. It's always fun to play here at home, play in front of our home crowd. We talked about it a little bit, Rod, just the frustration, some of the disappointment. We all feel it, and we just wanted to put forth our best effort. And I'm extremely proud of this group. They carved out a hard-fought win tonight.
Coach, going back on that, you just talked about the frustration and everything like that. In that last answer, talk about the first one. You talked about the team, how it felt for them. But how did it feel for you, to really kind of get that first win of the season?
It felt I'm a part of it. So when those guys win, we all win. And, I'm extremely proud of that group. It felt great. It's kind of getting the monkey off your back, so to speak. And, hopefully we can build on this momentum.
It feels like, every time Jose is making the right play, he's encouraging others, he has relentless effort. I mean, we see it, you probably see it way more in practice and whatnot. To see him get a moment like that in this game, what does it mean to you to see all of his hard work get even more rewarded with a huge moment to help you all secure your first win?
Yeah, he's always a guy that plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's done that since he's gotten here. He knows that nothing is given to him. He has to earn every opportunity, and he's done that. And every time he touches the floor, he tries to give you everything he has. And tonight, I believe he played 20 straight minutes. And, yes, the big shot, but he made so many plays for us on both ends of the floor. And his energy was right. He was an emotional leader for our group. Obviously, having some guys out, he's all heart. He plays with his heart, and I think that's why people resonate with him.
We've seen her kind of take some of the young players aside and just speak with them. How do you feel like he's been vocally at practice? Do you feel like he's growing to be more comfortable calling guys up? Asking more of them to meet the moment.
He is. He definitely is. Herb, he has a quiet spirit about him, but he's growing more confident in using his voice. And when he talks, everyone in the gym listens.
Circling back to DQ, could you just address his fourth quarter in the context of the perceived risk that Joe took in trading back in to get him and some of the criticism he's gotten for it?
I mean, that's for us, that's like behind us. We've all moved forward with, our group, and you guys saw what he's capable of doing on the floor tonight. Look, we moving forward with our group. We love the guys that we have. We're going to continue to coach them, continue to try to build momentum, carve out wins. DQ is a part of that. And all these guys are talented, and they're here for a reason. And I'm grateful that I get a chance to coach high character, hard-working young men.
Coach, what went into the decision to start JP again tonight?
Having C out, having Zion out, just filling that role of, putting some points on the board for us. Okay, thank you.
All right, there go Willie Green, man, feeling gracious and good and happy and all this kind of stuff, and rightfully so. Getting a win kind of scaves off some negative stuff, but the Pelicans are 116-112 and get their first win of the season, a gutsy win. Zion out. This team, Charlotte's also was a team missing some very good players as well, but nonetheless, the Pelicans bench. I mean, you want to credit somebody. Of course, we know Trey. We're going to go into the statistics momentarily, but just to give a quick breakdown, y'all hit the like button too, fam, and the sub button if you're not a sub, and share. If you don't listen to us on X, please give us a retweet. But this is the thing to talk about here. It was the bench. It was a gutty effort by the bench. We know Trey went off. He had 21 points in the game. Jordan Poole kind of struggled in this one. Jeremiah Fears, had a few moves in here. But really, it was the Pell bench. Carlo Mekovic, Derek Queen. Queen almost had a triple-double today, tonight. I mean, Jose Alvarado played really well. He was energy and effort in there. He was on fire. Sadiq Bey also threw in a good day. So that bench really kind of carried the day for the Pelicans, helping them secure the victory. And like I said, man, some of these games are a lot more difficult than what they need to be with our team because some aspects of the team is so unfundamental, like the free throws. The free throws was just, we can do a little bit better than that. But on the just looking at it from the peripheral, I just think that the Pelicans were able to get a win. Can they salvage this? Can they box this coming into the next game against a lot tougher opponent? That's yet to be determined. But anyway, we got Lex chiming in. Lex, welcome in. Shout out to you and shout out to the rest of y'all, man, for being in the stream, man. Much love to everybody. I see you, Liddell. Big ups to you, Slim, YBNG, Don, 504 Co, all the fam. Appreciate y'all. Y'all hit that like button. Lex, welcome in. What are your thoughts on your Pelicans getting a dub tonight?
It's a false sense of hope. That's what I think. I don't know if you all remember what I was saying a few streams ago, that even if the Pelicans do win, there's it's still the same. You're still dealing with a lot of the same stuff. One thing I'll say about with Jose, no, great shot, but again, it was ISO. It was like, a lot of that one-on-one stuff. And you'll get a few games like that, but against the better teams, the more disciplined teams, that's still a concern. I still feel the same way about Willie Green, because let me tell you how this is going to go. And this is like, because we understand who we're dealing with, okay? I don't want, yes, the Pelicans did win, but what does that really mean? We got to ask that question. We can't just be so gullible where it's like, oh, yay. I saw how everybody was responding. Even Willie Green. Willie Green was cheesing from ear to ear. Did you see that, Big Q? He was like really, really happy. And, walking off, high-fiving people, really, dapping them up.
Yeah.
And the chest bumps, things like that.
Right.
And it's like, dude, right now, if I were you, I'm not smiling, because you got a lot of work to do. But really, I'm really past that point, because he still, what this means is Jeremiah Fears has been playing towards the end of these last few games, right?
Right.
In the closing lineups.
Yep.
Okay, so Jeremiah Fears wasn't out there. Jose was. You know, in what Willie's mind, what he's thinking? Oh, I just need to play Jose more.
Yeah. Yeah. He gave him a ton of minutes tonight too.
Is that something? Is that now we understand Jose is not the type player that you want to give a lot of minutes to. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah, I think what happened was he kind of got trapped. Well, not trapped with Jose, but I guess he kind of allowed Jose to stay cooking because Jose had it going. He had the hand tonight. He had everything flowing.
Jose in to cook.
He had him.
Jose to cook.
He had him going. What he was doing off that bench, Jose had 18 points and 6 assists, so he was bringing a fire edge.
Throw a wrench in his rhythm.
No, he did. No, he did not.
Didn't bring him out. Oh, that's
no, he
interesting.
did not. Yes,
that's really interesting.
Right,
man. That's interesting. He didn't break his rhythm, did he?
No, he did not.
He must. I guess he must have been desperate or something. Desperate for something. But yeah, I mean, playing. So in Willie's mind, from this game, because he's going to take a lot from this game. He's going to probably give Jose way extended minutes. You know what I'm saying? And that right there is not the answer, because everything that Willie's doing is basically covering up the fact that he can't coach. That's what all this is doing. You know, he's using that, be like, oh, that's what I need to do. No, that's what simps would kind of feel that they should do. But no, that's not what that means. Every game is going to be different. First of all, you had 3 rookies starting, and you had Colin Sexton, and who was the other guy? Somebody help me out.
What it was, I know it wasn't Trey Mann. Here it is. They had with Sion James, Colin Sexton, Bridges, Canuple.
Okay, yeah, Bridges. Okay, yeah, he was the other. So you had 3 rookies starting, and you had 2 legitimate starters. Okay, and you barely beat them. Oops,
yeah,
did
about
I say
4.
too much?
No, you're making sense. Let me ask you this, Lex. I want you to keep cooking, but the thing is with Willie Green tonight, like with the Pelicans, yeah, he would be happy. Yes, he's happy because the win tonight scaves off the heat that he's facing for at least another game or so. It does because
I'm looking at the situation. You barely beat a team that started 3 rookies.
Right.
Majority of the game, they played a lot. And 2 starters. LaMelo Ball did not play.
No.
And Brandon Miller did not play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how much optimism I can truly have, or any supporter can have, when you're looking at the facts. And it's like, dude, with a condensed down OKC team, you lost by 30. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
They were missing players too, right? Because Jalen Williams, he didn't play. Chet Holmgren, he didn't play.
Luke Dort.
Yeah, Lou Dort, he got sick. And you got blown out by 30. 30. This team, LaMelo Ball was out. Miller was out. You were playing against not guys who were not experienced, and they were very much in the game. I want to see the whole picture, and that's what I'm looking at. Because guess what, everybody? The Pelicans are not going to be going up against every night a team that's starting with 3 rookies and 2 legitimate starters. They're not going to be doing that. So are supporters content with 1 win, only to go on another losing streak? that basically with this win, and I'm looking at everything, man. Like, what does this win really mean?
I
And that's what
mean,
I asked that question streams ago. Like, they're still playing the same. You still have rebounding problems. You still have rotational problems. You still have adjustment problems. You still have lousy third quarters. You still turn the ball over. You still don't have legitimate sets. You still don't have an identity. You still can't shoot threes. You're still making careless turnovers. That's what I'm looking at. Like, when you watch the game, what did you solve? You just got to win, but I'm looking at the how. And I know some people may believe, "Oh, Lex, come on, man. I mean, let's enjoy this win. A win is a win." Is it? Is it?
well, I mean, the people are wind starved. To be honest with you, they are.
I know, but
And
that the whole the supporters have been wind starved for a long time, Big Q.
I know that's like having water. Somebody give you
It,
some spring water,
yeah,
and you ain't been drinking water in the last several months. So I
and
think
supporters
a
should
big
not stoop down to that because we deserve more. I think highly of the fan base and
me too.
the support base. I really
I don't
do. And I think
I
it's
don't think they
sad.
fooled by I don't think they fooled by this, Lex. I don't think the people fooled by this. This was a gutty performance by the bench. The bench, because really, I mean, you had 11 points from Jordan Poole. He really didn't shoot well tonight. Trey Murphy had 21. We'll go on individuals in momentarily, but this was a bench situation where they just outgutted. They just gutted up and said, "Listen," and got frustrated and did what they needed to do. It wasn't clean. It wasn't. They made a lot of errors and mistakes, and they gutted out the win. That is not something I've yet to see consistently them put together. So I mean, that to me is we're not fooled by that. We understand that he escapes the hatchet for one more game. We know he can't coach. We know the team is just tonight is one of those games where they were so frustrated that they wanted to win more than a shorthanded Charlotte team. So I mean,
You know what?
they took the
They
win.
should want to win. They should want to win more so than anybody every single night because I mean, but the identity is not and the structure is not there, which makes it very difficult for the players. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but if I see Derek Queen handling the rock at point one more time, like what are we doing? Like we know that he plays best when he's at the five. He should not be handling the rock. Even bring the ball down. That's not what the type of player that he is. I mean, it's bad.
Right.
It's bad enough that the Pelicans have a hard time giving the ball to Zion. You know what I'm saying? And like so you're gonna allow a rookie who plays the five, a legitimate five. You're gonna have him, play point, but the guy where we got a lot of data, great things happen when the ball's in his hands. We're not going to allow him to have it at point. We're going to play, Russian roulette. Zion, you won't play at these few plays down. Oh, you know what, Zion, he can handle the rock. Why don't we give it to him on this possession? You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that is just kind of like astonishing. And then you don't mind playing Zion at the five because you have a coach who's dialed into small ball. I'm trying to make sense of everything that's going on because it doesn't make sense. But yeah, my stance hasn't changed. I'm still concerned because let me tell you something. That pick, man, there ain't no man. We don't even need to talk about draft picks for real. You know what I'm saying? Like the Pelicans are in a position where they have to win. Like that's what a lot of this stuff comes down to. And the Pelicans just moving slow. I mean, it's still the same thing. Nothing has changed. This dude still can't coach. I mean, I wish they would stop dragging their feet on this stuff because it's really irritating.
Yeah, it's a interesting dynamic with the Pelicans, man, and the reason being is because um, most organizations, regular organizations, would have pulled the plug, you know. But there is, like I said, but you got a person at the top of the team who really don't know what to do. And they're trying to crunch money. They're trying to hold on to this, that, and the third. They're doing all this stuff. And you look at the arena today, the arena was full of people. You know, still there. They already paid for their tickets. They went down and most people just want to be entertained. They want to see their basketball team win a game. Pelicans did it tonight. Now, tomorrow they have Dallas. We'll preview that momentarily. But let's kind of hit the stats right quick, Lex, and we'll hit the stats on it for tonight. But yeah, the Pelicans were 43 of 90 for almost 48%, which was slightly better than what the Hornets did. They were 39 of 82 in terms of percentage. Pelicans hit 17 3-pointers tonight. They hit from a 45% clip, 17 of 38 for 45%. Then Hornets were 13 of 38 for 34%. So the Pelicans was doing it there. 21 of 28 tonight. The referees, a lot of foul calls for the Hornets. They hit 21 of 28 for 75%. The Pelicans, 13 of 19 for 68.4%. Want to get that up to the low 80s. Around that marks, would be good for the Pelicans in these close games. They out-rebounded the Pelicans 49 to 39. The assist game, Pelicans did circulate the ball a little better. Remember, they averaged, they're dead last in the NBA in terms of averaging assists per contest. They had 27 tonight against 20 by the Hornets. They also won the steal game 9 to 8. They were outblocked 6 to 3, and the Pelicans turned the ball over 13 times. With 11 points. Now, they did force the Hornets into 20 turnovers, in which they scored 22 points off of those said turnovers. And, of course, you look at the lead there, where the Pelicans had as much as 12 points in the game before they lost the lead and were able to regain the lead again. So it's just, it was a little back and forth play until ultimately they kind of put the brakes on it and had a few plays toward the back end to kind of close the game out. Trey Murphy, he was a leader tonight. In terms of points, 21 points from Trey Murphy in 37 minutes. He continues to play heavy minutes for the Pelicans, 7 of 16 from the field. He was 5 of 10 from downtown for Trey Murphy. Jordan Poole in starting role had 27 minutes, only 11 points. He was 1 of 6 from downtown for 17%. He was 3 of 4 from the field for 21% with 6 assists. A couple of rebounds. Jordan Poole really struggled in this one. Jeremiah Fears turned in 11 points in 17 minutes with 3 rebounds as well. Kayvon Looney in another start had 15 minutes of play. He didn't score any points but had 4 rebounds. Herb in 36 minutes had 11 points with 5 boards and assists to go along with it. He was 3 of 5 from downtown as Herb shot 60% from the field in this matchup. And then, of course, the bench. The bench is really what kind of carried today. Jose Alvarado off the bench with 31 minutes. Starter minutes from Jose Alvarado, even though he came off the bench. Finished with 18 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, and he shot 4 of 7 from downtown. And he was plus 21 on the plus minus. Jose really, his energy and his leadership off the bench really helped the Pelicans. 17 from Saddiq Bey in 27 minutes to go along with 4 boards. He was 3 of 5 from downtown and 6 of 9 from the field. Solid game by Saddiq Bey. And Derek Queen also showed a lot of poise. 18 minutes, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals. Almost a triple-double by Queen if he had some more minutes. He was really doing some fantastic play, plus 13 on that plus minus. Karlo Mekovic was just cramming and dunking on people. In 15 minutes, he electrified the crowd, 13 points, 6 boards, and a couple of assists, a block from Karlo. He was 6 of 7 in the game at plus 13. So real wonderful play by the Pelicans to help seal the game. But is it, as David Griffin said, is it sustainable? That's one of his favorite buzzwords. I don't quite, I know it's not sustainable because we haven't seen this consistently from our Pelicans. And then, of course, the next matchup will be against Dallas. It's a back-to-back. So we're here. Now we have to travel to Dallas, and then we'll have San Antonio too. So tomorrow is Dallas, Saturday is San Antonio, and then Monday, that's the 3-game road stand, we finish out against Phoenix. So those are the next 3 games, Dallas, San Antonio, and Phoenix, all on the road before the Pelicans come home for 5 straight, starting with Portland and finishing with the Denver McNuggets. So anyway, Lex, what's your last talking points on that Hornet Pelican matchup, if you have any, before we jump to the preview of Dallas and Pels?
Yeah, as I said before, yeah, it's a win, but is it really a win? So, I like you said, Big Q, is it sustainable? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And we know
I
the
said
answer.
no.
Yeah. I
Right,
mean,
it's
and
no.
that's the biggest thing. I mean, you just got to look at this whole picture. And the reality is the Pelicans still don't look good. The Pelicans still don't have an identity. It's not about me wanting to rather have the Pelicans lose than not. Really, it's more so the how. It really is the how. I'm never dialed into losing. I want the Pelicans to win, but I really want them to win. You know what I'm saying? Not, no, okay, you won 1 game and then you're losing the next 10. Is that really winning? So that's what I'm looking at. And I just want to make myself clear on that because yes, it is a win, but for how long? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you just have to ask yourself these questions because I mean, as far as the better teams in the NBA, and there are a lot of teams that are better than the Charlotte Hornets. How are the Pelicans? Do you see the Pelicans winning those games? So, it's not sustainable. I think that's the biggest thing. But yeah, that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, that's that's yet to be determined in terms of that. We know the answer is based on history, and what we know about the head coach is that one of his major problem is his inability to make his team play successful consistently. I mean, when he finds something that works, he tends to have amnesia and goes away
Yeah.
from it. So it's just one of these maddening things that you see. That's why the teams, lack so much consistency, because when you find something, you got to continue to build upon it, and that's just strictly what Willie Green doesn't do very well. So Zion Williamson, however, you guys have already known this, is that just revealed the other day, is that Zion will be out for at least a week with a strained left hamstring. So here come
Wow,
again
he's
with
out
the
for a week.
7 to 10 days, according to the reports. He'll miss at least a week with a strained left hamstring. The latest injury trouble for the Pelicans forward. Winless Pelicans announced Tuesday, well, they won one today, that Williamson has been diagnosed with a grade 1 strain and will be evaluated in 7 to 10 days. So Williamson has played 5 games for the Pelicans. 5 of the 6 games, missing the Boston because of a left bone contusion. He's averaging 23 points a game as well. So there you go. He's missed more than 268 games. He's played in 214 games. So this is one of these situations where the hamstring issue is here, and that's the Pelicans, and Joe Dumars knew that. That's why Derek Queen is here. That's why he's kind of adding this other stuff to kind of absorb as many of the injuries as he possibly can going forward. But despite us missing our big gun in Zion Williamson, they were still able to get the win. Now, where that happened against the Dallas Mavericks, who is also a team that's going through some stuff. They're 2-5, but are 2-3 at home. So of the 2 wins they have, both of them are home wins.
Coach?
Jason Kidd is the coach.
Okay. All right.
So yes,
Just wanted to be sure.
right. So they are struggling themselves. They've lost 2 of their last 2 games too. So The Pelicans looking to kind of get that second win, man, and make Dallas what that record is. So Derek Lively is listed as out for this game. I think he looked like he might not come back. Yeah, him and Anthony Davis and Kyrie and all these kind of people are not supposed to be available for the Pelicans matchup. So can the Pelicans without Zion Williamson pull off another win? Cooper Flagg, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, AD's out, Derek Lively's out, but Najee Marshall, Daniel Gifford, D'Angelo Russell, Brandon Williams, those guys are there. Powell. So the Pelicans it's still a difficult team, and they're also, like you said, they're well coached. And we'll see in the back-to-back matchup. But this team, like I said tonight, the bench brung it. They were frustrated, tired of the losing, and they kind of efforted themselves into a win. I don't know if the bench. I haven't seen the bench do this type of play all season long. Can they carry it on into the Dallas matchup? We'll see. But Willie Green is still on that seat, man, and but Jason Kidd can end up putting his ass right back on that seat. The heat going right back up. So it's for the Dallas matchup. So we'll see.
Yeah. I know you saying that he's back, things are normal. I just don't feel like they are. I really don't. I mean,
not normal. No, not normal. I'm saying a win, because obviously what's going on is leadership is attempting to give him extra opportunity to save himself here. They're affording him and giving him more and more opportunity, a longer leash in terms of firing him. This is the Gail Benson effect. Anybody knows, this team knows that Willie Green has lost his team. Several of the players do not like him on the team. We know this. A lot of people understand and know that
Jordan Poole is one of
Jordan Poole doesn't like him at all.
No.
The whole mindset that the entire organization knows that he's only there because the owner won't allow him to be fired. It's just really that you lose a lot of respect there. Plus the fact that he hadn't totally gained the team. Tonight's win wasn't strictly because I don't want to take nothing away from him entirely, but a lot of what happened tonight was strictly the fact that the guys got tired of losing and decided to have an effort-filled game to will themselves into the winning category.
They gonna need that every night.
Willie
can't coach.
But that's the point. They will have to have these type of efforts. They'll have to out effort his coaching going forward to get out of the hole, which is not something that's going to happen every night. A game here, a game there, but not every night. You're not going to win despite your coach. You're not going to win despite the coach doing what he does. So ultimately, destiny's going to set its place anyway. Whether it's 6 games or 10 games, sooner or later, you're not going to be able to keep protecting this guy, and sooner or later, he'll fall down. But this is the point, about having a owner who is totally clueless to the process of what's going on with the team. This is unfortunate, but this is what we're dealing with as time continues to, run out. So this is a part of the game. So Zion Williamson will be out for 7 to 10 days. We will just have to keep on rolling on this trip right here that we on. He'll miss all this trip, these next 3 games. He more than likely, we probably won't see him until the first game of the once we come back off this 3 games situation. But the Pelicans are deep. They'll have to play, beyond Willie Green, and they'll have to handle their business. Trey had something. Jordan Poole will have to step his game up, and guys are going to have to keep playing hard like they played tonight to secure victories game after game to save Willie Green. So it's just this is where they're doing. I don't agree about it, but this is the hell what's going on. If I was running a damn team, Willie Green he would have been fired last year. We'd have had a whole new coaching staff in here. But this is different. Yeah, he'd been if I'm running the team and I'm the owner, I would have definitely fired Willie Green, because I would have realized that Willie, if you like Willie so much, let him wash cars, let him clean up the building, let him hand out tickets, let him make phone calls to people for Pelicans tickets, let him do anything.
Customers at Walmart.
Let him do anything that doesn't have anything to do with coaching this team. If you love him that much, but don't leave him in charge. And a lot of that's because it's tied to a money situation, and the owner that doesn't really know anything. So, like I said, Joe is tied. His hands is tied until Willie loses enough to justify him being fired. What's enough? Man, I thought six or 7 games is enough based on the fact that you don't want to fall too far behind in your
3
schedule. You don't want
games,
to turn
lost
the.
by 30.
But that's the point. The point is, this is not a normal situation for regular people that got sense. That's the problem. You're looking at it with too much sense and logic. You can't rationalize with a person that doesn't know what they're doing. You don't know, and they're stubborn, and they refuse to see what they're doing. And this is what it is. There's no logic in none of this. Like we said, we talked about early in the broadcast about them looking at cutting corners with the money because they were looking at the money that David Griffin spent over his tenure here, and that he spent a lot of money on things that simply didn't work. Now the now the kickback to that is now where they were very liberal with David Griffin. They're going to be conservative with Joe Dumars because of him. Now we want to make sure that we cut this way, cut this corner. If you got to fire the coach, you got to pay the coach. But she shouldn't see that anyway because, he's not making top-notch dollar as a head coach. But if you still fire the guy, you settle with him, and then the interim coach steps up, and the interim coach is not making that kind of money. So you still have an opportunity there. So, like I said, the way they're looking at it, like bean counting and penny pinching, and it's all about the money. And I'm like, this broad making all kind of money, man. She just bought another building. She got all these contracts going on. So it's not about them. And another thing is they're kind of upset about the stadium thing, too. They want a brand new stadium so she can make more money. And the people are kicking against that because you're not winning. So the adjustment is to be more conservative. Well, that's the point. They felt like they invested a lot under Griffin. Now they're being conservative under Joe Dumars. So they're going to try to work with what they got to improve. This is the mindset, the weird mindset, which makes sense to a degree, but none of this makes sense unless you remove the cancer that is Willie Green. Willie Green is the problem. He's the main problem of the team. You cannot have accountability with a guy that constantly loses his team. He never gained the team back. People on the team doesn't like him. He doesn't know what he's doing. And tonight's win was a win that the team did despite him. Because none of this other stuff worked any other time. He's still saying the same stuff. He's been saying it. So it was a team effort tonight to get the W because they was tired of people pressing down on them in the media and everywhere else that they're a pile of losers and they need to handle their damn business. So they stepped up against a shorthanded team. We was missing some of our people. They took the win. Now we got to do it again tomorrow. So it's this is where we are, Lex.
Unfortunately.
Indeed. But if you look at the Dallas right here, look at their lineup, Lex. Flagg, Thompson, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, Daniel Gafford.
I know they have guys missing, but they have more of a system and identity, and they have a coach. Now, Dallas didn't start off well. We know that, they're not, really looks like they a team that's really trying to find themselves, but they know more of their identity than the Pelicans do. They do have, you still have Klay Thompson. You have guys that know what they're doing out there. Okay, that is clear. And Jason Kidd, trust me, that dude, their situation is just different from the Pelicans because Jason Kidd is going to figure some things out. And I've seen Dallas's games. I watched a few of their games. And they don't look great, but one thing is that they do know how to play. And with a team like the Pelicans, who does not have an identity, who has absolutely no structure, like this is going to be barbecue chicken to me. And plus, they're still long. They still know how to play basketball. Guys know how to maintain spacing. They know how to knock down shots. They know how to share the ball. They understand the pick and roll, something that the Pelicans still don't have down. Okay. Like they still have those basic things down. So even though Dallas is not as good as I think people anticipated them to be, like their upside is great. Because, Kyrie is going to be coming back. I don't know the thing about, Anthony Davis, but even without Anthony Davis, you still have guys that can step up. Like, you still have that. And they go out there and compete every for the most part. I think their worst loss was their first game. Right? I think that I don't think all their other games, they've been very competitive. So
Yeah, they got blown out by the Spurs in the first week.
Yeah. So the first game was their worst game. Pelicans have had 3 games where they lost by 30 points, and they were. I think they broke it. They made history with that because they were the fastest to have 3 blowout games. Within just 6 games, which that's probably the wrong side of history. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Right.
So Dallas is definitely doing a whole lot better because they haven't beaten that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure they're not trying to beat that. So there was I saw somebody here wrote something. And I thought Liddell Wilson 9255. But they were saying I'm just a lifelong Pels fan. Oh, and I see the thing. I'm sorry. Well, you know what? You can go on and do the super chat.
All right, thank you, Lex. Brother Jan says this win has true. It says this win is ruined the season. He says he believes this win has ruined the entire season. The entire season. Willie is now saved, and the Pels will lose the next 7 games. He'll be fired when they're 1-15, season over. Wow, damn. Anyway, thank you for that, brother. Appreciate you, brother. All right, shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you for that. Very interesting sentiment. I don't think the season's ruined because of one win tonight, because things can go back to what they were, like a 15, 20 point loss, this sort of thing. It can really go back to that. Pelicans were close in this game to losing. They had a couple of things that broke right for them in the game. But the reality, it could reverse and go back to what it was, man, because we've seen a lot of the losing, the breaking downs. This game, I think they just got fed up. I don't think it ruins the season. I don't think we go 1-15 before they ultimately decide. But then again, bro, you never know. I can't even say that because you never know with Gail Benson. None of this makes sense. Like the guy, he's really not supposed to be coaching this matchup. He was supposed to be fired after the road trip. And it's just like she is getting in the way of all this. All she can see, this whole veneer, this charity event of being such a philanthropic person, and all this charity and all this kind of stuff. A lot of that well-crafted media persona is wearing away. And what you're seeing is people who are all they care about is money. And they will dial back and make as much money as they possibly can. They don't care about the product. Like even for the Saints stuff, they did the post presser after the Saints got blown out this past Sunday. And Justin Reed, the guy just got here. And he's standing up there talking about we don't want finger pointers in here. This some bitch standing up here and the team is 1-8 talking about we don't need finger pointers. Well, how you going to find out who's screwing up? Well, the only guy that don't want finger pointers is the guys that are screwing up. You got to have people to point out who not doing their job. Because if you're doing your job at work, you don't want nobody telling you screwing up when you know you're doing what you're supposed to. No, go talk to that man over there who's showing up late, who ain't doing what he's supposed to do. No, they go talk to him over there. You don't want that on you. Let him straighten his stuff out. Nobody should be taking a weight for somebody that's screwing up. That's not accountability. Accountability work at the lowest at the lowest level it can. Then it goes up to a broader level. Everybody has to be accountable when they're screwing up. And that's simply, we don't need no guy just stepped in here trying to tell you, well, we need solutions. You're not looking for no solutions at all if you're not willing to be real about something. So I really disrespect Justin for coming in here trying to tell people you don't need no fingerprint. Sit your ass down, man. And it's the same thing with this Pelican organization with Gail Benson. And it's and the media is on fire with the Pelicans. The local media, the influencers, everybody are on one heartbeat with this whole thing. That's how you know that ultimately you're going to get what you want and that she can't stand in the way of progress for the team. Everybody's on the same accord, and that will not change. One win does not change the fact that Willie Green is still a bad coach. He might buy himself an extra game here or there, but it does not change the fact that he's a bad coach. Go ahead, Lex.
I was just gonna put down speak what Liddell Wilson 9255 was saying. I'm just a lifelong Pels fan. In all honesty, we don't have a certified team until we get 2 more Zions and 4 more Fears. All that left is G League, in my opinion. And, it feels like that. You know what I'm saying? It really does feel like that. Because, man, let me ask you this, Big Q. And this is for anybody in the chat as well. When will the Pelicans beat a team in the Western Conference?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. Maybe I wouldn't even say Phoenix.
Because Phoenix, they've
I
won.
wouldn't even say them.
People, I think they beat the Spurs.
Yeah, they did. They beat the Spurs pretty good too, 130 to 118. So I wouldn't even say Phoenix, because that if I was forced to say over the next 10 games, which Western Conference team, because they have Dallas tomorrow, they have San Antonio on Saturday. I don't think they beat Dallas or San Antonio. Phoenix is, maybe Portland. I would with Chauncey out, but still in all, Portland is.
I mean, they still play. They still play with some type of identity.
They have an identity, right? The Lakers, maybe, I don't know. Not Golden State, and then they have OKC, then Denver, then Dallas again. I mean, if you have to pick out all of those teams, I would have to say either a Phoenix or the Lakers, either one of them, because they're not going to beat San Antonio. They're not going to beat Dallas. They're not going to beat Portland. Portland has their number, whether Chauncey's there or not. Golden State, they're not going to beat them. OKC runs them through the mud. Denver, and then they play Dallas against it before we hit 2 East Coast teams in Atlanta and Chicago getting later on in November. So you make an interesting point there that I think probably one of those teams, either a Phoenix or perhaps a Lakers team, they might have some success with. But outside of that, I don't see a lot of wins there based on how they currently are coached. Yeah, it's a state of affairs.
That's very concerning. And Big Q, that you said it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's very concerning when you think about that. I think there may be some teams, obviously, in the East, but depending on who's available in those games, I think it's going to depend on that. Because I mean, even if you look at even with Charlotte, LaMelo Ball didn't play. Brandon Miller didn't play. Obviously, Zion, he didn't play for the Pelicans. but this game was close. And a majority of the game, you had 3 rookies playing. So it's I think I'm ready for real change
Yeah,
in a positive direction.
well, you're gonna need Jordan Poole too, consistently too. Like if the Pelicans are gonna win some of these games against these tougher opponents in the West, and they got quite a few of them. The next 10 games a Western Conference opponents. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. Yeah, about 9 games are Western opponents. Dallas twice, San Antonio once, Phoenix, Portland, Lakers, Golden State, and OKC, Denver. Yeah, so the next 9 opponents are Western Conference foes, and you have a couple of bouts with guys within the Southwest, your own division. So you don't want to go down, too far, and you also have to be mindful of it. And I know Joe Dumas, it has can only press so far, because the ownership is so stupid. But the reality is, yeah, you have to have Jordan Poole scoring 20 plus points a game. Zion's going to be out the next 3 games against Dallas, San Antonio, Phoenix, the road trip. He's supposed to, I guess, if you look at it, he might return for Portland on November the 12th. But the reality is you would need to be able to have Jordan Poole and Trey Murphy to score 20 plus points. Somebody got to get in the upper 20s. One of them maybe have to get to the 30s to have that. Then we have to have extra scoring off the bench like we seen tonight from Sadiq Bey, who gave like 16, 17 points. We're going to have guys like Jose and Derek Queen. These guys will have to contribute consistently off the bench to help the Pelicans beat some of these teams. They can't allow the bulk of the scoring to be on the back of the starters. The bench has to bring it from an offensive standpoint as well to help contribute in these games, like the type of effort they had tonight when they scored 50 plus points in terms of the bench. The bench scored 50 plus points tonight. The Pelicans are not known to do that. The other game when the Pelicans got hammered, the bench had a scant amount of points. Nobody were in double figures. But that has to level, and they'll have to have a set rotation where Willie puts out there, which he won't do because he don't know what he's doing. And those players who hit the floor will have to play hard like they did tonight against these other teams just to have a chance. So I mean that's what it is. But I see Jordan Poole so alienated so early in the season. The goddamn guy just got here. And you can't have him disconnected like that. You need his bench. He's a $30+ million player. You need his 20 points a game to go along with what you got to have success until Zion gets back. And even when he gets back, you're going to still need Jordan Poole's production to carry the day for the Pelicans. I mean, out of all these games, the Boston game, he had 22 points, and the Clipper game, he had 30 points. So even in those losses, he showed up in these games, you know what I'm saying, in terms of production. But we need a full effect by our top 3 20-point scores plus a solid bench scoring as well to kind of help balance that situation. But like I said, but it's so topsy-turvy and inconsistent. It's you're not going to get that consistently through these games, and it's just a matter of coaching, because you might do that to them in the first half, but a good coach hits you with them adjustments, Lexxah. Like anybody, once they make them adjustments in the second half and turn you off like a light, you're gonna have to adjust to something else, and that's when they got Willie Green. He cannot adjust. But anyway, I'm gonna give you the last word before we leave.
Yeah, the third quarter, is still the same. And even in this game, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but the third quarter was lousy. It was the same thing. So, that's why I asked the question, what do the wins really mean if you're still doing the same thing, if you still showing the same weaknesses? The same problems still exist. We're not accomplishing the true goals. We're not addressing the details, the small nuances that need to be addressed in order to really win. Okay, yeah, like you'll be able to get like a game or two with, with the flaws of the team and things, not having a coach, based off effort, talent. But again, that comes down to what type of team are you trying to be? Are you trying to be a lower tier team, a mediocre team? Right now, that's where the Pelicans are. Maybe between, probably lower. You know what I'm saying? Because the Pelicans are not looked at as a top tier team. And as horrible it pains to say that, it is true. Like, and it's hard to lie to yourself. Well, for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, because you see a lot of those mistakes and those things that are still not being addressed, even in a win. So, I mean, it's almost equivalent to when the Pelicans were playing in Australia. The Pelicans won both those games. But even so, we were still asking the question, what do those wins really mean? Like, how much weight did those wins hold in Australia? And now, like, obviously, now you're playing in regular season in the NBA. You got your first win, in this country, okay, of regular season. So that's great. But there's still concerns. The concerns still exist. Same thing with, I'm pretty sure, with everybody stands with Willie Green. And in his mind, he probably thinks he's safe. But it's like, no, like, you're really not. Nothing has changed. Like, we still want you gone. You know what I'm saying? You need to be gone. That's very important, because this organization is not going to really be in a position to really win until you really clean house. And we know who the main, ringleader of this whole thing is. And I know I get tired of saying it, and this is nothing personal against Willie Green. Really, because of his coaching, I really don't care to know anything personal about him, for real. I really don't, because I can't even get past the coaching part. But from just his job description, he's not doing that well. He's not doing that well at all. I mean, it really relies on the team's effort or the team's talent, but he's not pouring anything into the team. Like, it's like, how we talk about relationships, okay? It takes two people to make a relationship. This relationship is very one-sided, okay? Very one-sided. So, we'll see what happens on tomorrow. I will say I don't think the matchup indicator against Dallas. I don't think they're lying. I really don't. So, I know it I say, it's for, gambling purposes, but that there's right now there's a lot of truth in it. But yeah, the answer has been, staved off for a little bit longer, but it still remains the same that, changes do need to be made. And before, the Pelicans dig too deep of a hole as far as in the losses column, in order, if you're still trying to save the season, and this is for Yale, Joe, even though it's really not on Joe, it's more so on Gale, because Gale is basically keeping Joe from doing his job. And I'm going to continue to say that because nobody who's been here. How long has Joe been here, BQ?
It's what is it? 5 or 6 months. 5 or 6 months. I know he was hired in the summertime to
Okay.
replace David Griffin the offseason. In what, 5, 6, 7 months, y'all? I mean, yeah. I want to say around that time frame.
Okay, so does 5, 6, 7 months of how many years was Griff here?
Sheesh, 5+ years. Wasn't he here for like 6 years or so?
Okay.
Y'all
So
put in the chat. I forget, man. It was such a terrible time. 5 to 6 years,
do you
maybe
think
7 years. Shit.
whether it's Joe or anybody else who was hired as the VP, okay? Can you address all the butcheredness that Griff did in 6 years? Is that fixable in 5 to 6 months? I'm just asking a question.
No, but no, it's not fixable in 5 to 7 years. I want to say Griffin was here for 7 years.
Okay, yeah, 7
Yeah.
years.
Yes.
It's
So
in the small amount of time that Joe's been here. Can he erase all the things that went wrong in David Griffin's tenure?
no, he won't be able to do that in 5 months. That's just not feasible.
Okay, so I need everybody to understand that because this is a business and this isn't like a walk in the park. You can ask the owner, the guy who who bought the Brooklyn the Russian who had brought the Brooklyn Nets. He thought he could turn that thing. He was talking about, oh, we're gonna win championships in 2-3 years. Remember when he said that? Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
The owner of the Phoenix Suns. You know what I'm saying? He felt like, oh yeah, we're gonna win championships. You know, they felt like they were gonna win it immediately. It's like y'all truly do not understand how this thing works. Like, you know, there is a process to this stuff. I mean, who in God's name is going from like the age of 2 years old straight to 18? Is anybody doing that? You go from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is skipping years to get to, you know, to go from 2 to the age of 18. And it's the same thing here. All this stuff is a process. You know, if you look at OKC, they went through the process. And you know what? They did a marvelous job. Kudos to them. Sam Presti did a marvelous job going through the process. This is from the time Russell Westbrook, KD, and James Harden, they were all gone. Okay? They were all gone. Then they had Paul George, they had Carmelo Anthony. Once they traded Paul George for Shai Gilgeous, that's when it started. It was a process. Think about that process. And look where they are now. That's how this thing works. And they took steps forward each year. It was steady. It was steady. It was steady. Going up the stairs, going up the ladder, trending upwards. It wasn't like a huge jump. It was a process, and they kept just stacking those days, stacking those months, stacking those seasons. And now you see the results of the process that they followed. You know, and that's one thing, like that stuff, that's how it's really done. Unfortunately, you had Griff, who was here, who did not have a plan, who did not have a vision, who loved to BS everyone, who wanted to be a dictator, much like someone else. Y'all know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not as heavy, but you get what I'm saying. Like, that's part of the process. So Joe, coming back to Joe, just being here 5 to 6 months, because it's so easy. It's so easy to be like, man, Joe is horrible. But I don't even think that's fair. Because right now Joe is receiving some heat. Like he's the face of all of this stuff going on. And I just want to stay true to like speak the truth, because this is Gail, y'all. It's Gail. She's the problem. When you don't allow someone that you delegated a job to, when you don't allow them to do their job the way that it should be done, because Joe did clean out house. He made people leave. He did make changes. He was aggressive. But when you have loose ends, when you don't get rid of all the bugs in the house, which is what's happening now, especially when they hold a huge position, which is a head coaching position, that makes it difficult for you to incorporate wholeheartedly what you're trying to do and carry out or implement your vision for the team. That's a huge part of it. So right now, like Joe's receiving a lot of, backlash, pushback, and I get it. I understand, but I wish they would plaster Gail's face everywhere. I really do. Because her face needs to be the one that needs to be everywhere, not Joe's. This stuff, like to say that for him to get all this heat, I'm like, no. There's some things that I disagree with what Joe has done. But at the same time, like, man, shoot, he's just getting started. He's trying to learn like what this team needs and all this stuff. He just got here. And he's trying to make immediate change, because it's like, look, we need to get back to, well, I don't know if we were ever really there, but how do we get back to winning? How do we get that aggression back? How do we get, just the organization to represent the city of New Orleans the right way? How do we get the city of this organization to represent the city on the basketball court? So he had that mind frame and that vision from the get-go. But it takes time to carry that stuff out. And when you got your hands tied, it makes it tough. It makes it tough. So I'm really hoping that I hope the season can be saved. Big Q. I really do. Because like I feel like this hole is going to, if they don't make that change, it's just going to deepen even more. And once that hole deepens even more, it's going to be hard to come out of it.
I think, and I feel you on that, Lex. I think it can be salvaged, even though from a history standpoint, we covered this ad nauseam. Is that the fact that the 0-6 mark? There's never been a team in NBA history that's ever went 0-6 and made the playoffs. 0-5, yes, but not 0-6. Not saying that they can't be the Pelicans. I do think whatever's messed up can be fixed. Like I actually think that could be done with the proper on-time adjustments. Joe Dumars came in. He did clear out the administrators. The general manager you had is gone. A lot of the top people that they had here under Griffin are gone. So that was the change. And the reason why the coaching staff wasn't touched in entirely, even though Troy Weaver did toward the later on in the season, he was able to add the assistant coach from I think Syracuse and bring him on, and he's over player development. I think head of player development. They gave him that role. That's their only tie to the staff. But they weren't able totally to tear down Willie Green's staff because he didn't have the power to touch Willie Green. I think Gail Benson, we talk about this all the time. So he was hamstrung to a degree. So he had to make whatever adjustments that he could make, which is the trades that brought about people like Saddiq Bey. I think we can all agree as a Pelican faithful that Saddiq Bey was a solid acquisition. that Derek Queen was. You seen tonight, he's a player. Him and Jeremiah Fears are two young players that are actually contributing when given minutes, so they can develop and get better. I think Jordan Poole put into the system correctly with his offensive ability, his 3-point shooting is definitely a help for what Zion has going on. Him and Trey. The health of the team, outside of what's happened currently with Zion Williamson, the team is constructed properly, but the coaching staff, the last thing that's failing the team is the head coach, and the head coach is not. Joe does not have the authority to fire Willie Green. Remember what the last general manager did. The last general manager had to go through Gale to fire Willie Green. Usually that's not something that a VP has to do. If the VP needs to handle the business and make a coaching decision, a lot of times he has free reign to do what he needs to do to improve upon a team. This is a very unnatural type of situation where he has absolute control over the team as opposed to touching the head coach, because Gail Benson has put a mark of Cain on him. So like I said, it's a very strange situation, because the only thing left to change for the Pelicans, because they changed personnel. Willie Green said it, man, half our team is brand new. The administrators are new. Half the team here is new. So what's the last remnant? It's him. So, I mean, he has to be able to get him out of here, but that won't happen unless he builds up whatever the docket of games necessary or needed, because they definitely had a dialogue about firing him. And if he talked to him, gave him an ultimatum, Gail might have said, okay, if he gets to a certain point. We have absolutely no idea what these people are doing with Gail, because it's all stupid. You can't make sense out of stupid shit. I mean, that's just, I don't even try. But in the end, we're just stuck in this unnatural position where the team wants to perform better. It simply does not have the structure and the coaching to be able to reach the levels that it needs to reach. Players need to be coached properly. Systems need to be implemented correctly. We're not there. The moment we get that, you'll see the team start to climb up and out of what it is. Now, it's unfortunate that we couldn't get that done before the start of the season, because had we brought in a Malone who has a championship and experience, he comes in as a respected guy that understands the principles. The defense has a structure, and we could have flowed right to it and been very competitive. But it's just one of these situations now that whatever was lagging from last year is now upon us this year, which is Gail. She doesn't care. So it's up to the faithful. Stop packing these stadiums, regardless of the prices. Like, the poor guys, the people reach out to me from the Pelicans, want to sell me. I told you guys they offered me like lower bowl tickets, like 4 seats for like $200. That's really cheap because of what's going on with the team. So, and I had to decline the guy trying to do his job, but on the end, it's something greater than we have to make that understood, that we have to be able to bend her knee to the will of the people. Now, and then this is a sticking point that we'll get up out of here. I heard somebody say online, is that, if you do such and such and you make them upset, then all that's going to do is then move the team. First of all, these people who saying this don't know what the fuck they're talking about. The Pelicans are tied contractually to the city of New Orleans. Gail has no heirs, right? So if Gail, God forbid, transitions, the team will be sold, and they are tied to the city. Now, there's an arena situation where she wants a brand new building, but the kickback is so fierce for her getting this new building so they can make even more money. The team has to perform better. And since that just did not happen and they're not close to the arena deal, they do the next thing. They want to play conservative now. So they dial back the money. So you don't see a lot of the promotional stuff, a lot of the stuff that they were kicking out doing. They're dialing it back, even though they're making more money. These people collect the concessions, the tickets, the parking revenue. They take the majority of all of the money out of the arena. That's to these things. They get all the tax incentives, the breaks the state has to offer them. They get the stuff that the building revenue from the Benson Tower, all that comes into their pockets as well, because the state rents the suites out of the Benson Tower at double the suite rate. They doing all that off the back of you. So in the end, you mean to tell me you can't turn out a whole new team? That's absolute greed, and you got to break these bastards. That's what it comes down to. So all these people out there that love the team, you're going to have to fold your fucking fandom for a little bit so we can get these people straight so that they can recommit to handling the business with the team. Y'all gonna have to discipline yourself now. Now, I had the same discussion when we was trying to get Dennis Allen out of here with people for the Saints. I was telling them you got to fold your fucking fandom, man, and turn on your brain and economics and understand the way you get these people together is by controlling how much money you give them. When you reduce the money, then they get straight. That is a tried and proven method of how you control. But they don't have no respect for you because they don't think you can operate as a group. This is the truth. Anyway, I'm going to leave it on that. Shout out to you, brother Jan. Thank you for becoming a member, my man. Thank you, bro. Here's a clap for you, my man. Appreciate you. And shout out to all the fandom. Sorry about the F-bomb, man, but sometimes your boy be getting tired of this, man. We've been doing PPR for a long time. I'm tired of the losing. I'm tired of the funk, the filth, the stink, and all the triflingness that I see with other teams. The Spurs, shout out to my dog Sean and Tasha, they're Spurs, they diehard Saints and Spurs people. The reality is their team was rebuilding. Their team was rebuilding. Their team has rebuilt before us and are a competitive interest within the last, 2 years? 3 years that they've turned around. The OKC Thunder started to rebuild when Griffin came over. They won a championship within 2 or 3 years with a G League coach.
Yep.
The Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that we scoffed at when they did the Rudy Gobert trade, they were playing in the Western Conference. Western Conference situation. So we've seen teams that we had similar rebuilds to or with and starting at the same time, and there are places where we're still running in place on the treadmill. That's lack of leadership. That's lack of vision. That's people not running it correctly, not people not hiring the correct people. It's not hard. You can go to a San Antonio or OKC and hire the assistant under Sam Presti. You don't think Sam Presti giving this assistant all of the game? Hell, I remember reading that a lot of them people, when you start looking at, they use astrology in their selection of these players along with analytics and scouting reports. They look at when these guys are being born and if they can work from an astrological standpoint together. Man, I done studied that shit and seen that on there. And how his team was constructed with a great deal of the people on there, their personalities match. This dude is doing all this kind of stuff, man. He using all and anything that he can use that puts together a team of winners. And obviously, whatever his stratagem is, it's working because they're competitive every year. They had a little stink that happened before, but them people done built themselves into a competitive, strong team that's still able to kick your ass, and they're missing 2 or 3 of their starters and one of their key role people. So in the end, is what I'm saying is, people, it's not a difficult situation. You just got to have somebody that understands that they need to win first and make money second, because it's actually the same thing. That's how it works. Win first, the money comes. You want a brand new arena, we'll give you that, but you have to win first. You can't get no new arena and you got all these buildings that we done gave to you. Then people gave them towers to that lady on pennies on a dollar. Hell, a couple of months ago, did y'all know she bought another tower? She bought another building. She got all this stuff going on off of money they make off of your ass. So fold your fandom for a second and stop going there so we can get these people together, man. They ain't going to no Seattle and they're not going to no Las Vegas. Stop being stupid to them people out there that's saying that, because they've already picked teams. They've already given teams to them on the slick to Seattle and Las Vegas. They love they love the New Orleans market because they love the market down here. They're not moving this team. That's not what's going on. So all that foolishness they talking, they don't know nothing about no contracts and they don't know what the fuck they talking about. So anyway, I'm about to get up out of here. Lex, thank you for tonight. Much love to y'all and the rest of the family members for being in here. I had to drop a little economics, man, because people, you can't, these people be talking out their ass, man. You're seeing all this stuff, and it's just come down to raw dog incompetence by the ownership. Joe Dumars won a championship as a VP of his team, and he a top 50 player with 2 championships himself, and one of the most respected players, that greatest player ever to play the game loves to talk about. The man is Mr. Basketball. He made some bad decisions at his tail end in Detroit, like anybody. But at the back end, that man ain't responsible for what's going on, man. It's that lady. It ain't crazy enough to reduce all of the administrators and fire all of them out of here and run them up out of here, change the team and got a new team, but don't change the coach. He's not crazy enough to do that. That's Benson doing that, bro. Benson is stopping and blocking this man. How long? I don't know, man. I don't know how long does it take to get him up out of here, but you're dealing with nonsense and idiots here. So in the end, I'm going to leave y'all on that. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your night. I know that was a lot. Lex, you want to add to it quickly before we leave?
Nah, Q, you good, man.
Shit.
There's a lot going on.
All right. I sound like somebody grandpappy right quick. And I had to do all, I'm like, boy, man, we got to teach people up in here, man, because I'm hearing all this stuff, all this rhetoric, and it simply isn't true. It's not Joe Dumars. It's not Troy Weavers. It's Gail Benson, bro.
You gotta speak your mind, brother BQ.
That's right.
Your mind.
That's right. Throw the time, friend. That's right. All right. So with that being said, listen, man, we appreciate y'all for stopping in. Y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, man. We gotta tune these people up, man. We gotta tune these people up, fam. We gotta bust out that same stuff we used on Dennis Allen on Willie Green, bro. This just, we won tonight, man. But like I said, it feel good to win, but it's not gonna be sustainable because he still don't know how to coach, bro. It's just one of them things. Sorry to steal a little of your thunder, but at the end of the day, we're gonna really celebrate when they kick Willie off the boat. I'm on out of here. Y'all have a nice rest of y'all night. I'll highlight y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow's another show. We'll be back then. Much love. Peace. Go Pels.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell him that. Fly down. Yeah, ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and you best, show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's up, then don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumpin' where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, Big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the refs just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostep. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever, Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever, Pelican forever.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with the WhoDatDaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit the WhoDatDaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation. Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pels Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below.